Welcome to this video where we're going to have a look at how asteroids or minor planets actually get named. Now there's three examples here that you can see. Some of those have an actual name and a small number in brackets. Some have numbers and a name. Some have a more code-like name. So how do they actually get named like that, and why are they different than each other? Well, it first starts with the New Star provisional designation. Now, it's called the New Style and it came in place in 1925, so it's not necessarily new in that sense, but this is the current system that's being used, and you would get a designation that looks a little bit like this. It's a bit like a code, and this is where it really starts when they get first discovered. They get this particular code-like name. Now, the first part is quite easy to understand. The first four numbers represent the year that object was discovered. So 1999 would be the year of discovery of the example we have here. So that's fairly easy to understand. Now if we go along to the first letter, this actually denotes the half month of the discovery. So you've got the year and then the half month that it was discovered in. So to give you an idea of that, this is the system that is being used. So A would be if it was discovered between the 1st and the 15th of January. And then B would be the 16th to the 31st. So the months are split into half months, and that letter tells you which half of that month it was actually discovered in. So if we go back to our example, we have a C here. So what that's telling us is that this object was discovered in the first half of February. So it was discovered 1999 and in the first half of February. Now if we go along to the second letter, this actually tells us the order in that half month that it actually was discovered. So we have a G here. So this example here means that it is the 7th in the first half of February. So as you can see there from the grid, it gives you an idea of the order that they actually come in. Now actually sometimes they will have a number at the end. And what that means is once you've gone through those 25 letters, you then come back round again and go through the cycle again. And once you do that on the second repeat, it will then have a 1. And then if you go for a second repeat, it will be a 2. So once you've gone through 25, you start back again at 26, and you go through to 50, and then you go on to a 2, which will be 51 to 75. So that number just tells you how many times you've gone through that lettering system and repeated it again. Now, that's the provisional designation that they get. But once they have a well-defined orbit, so once lots of observations have been done, they may have quite a clear and understandable orbit that we can predict going forward. And at that point, they will be given a permanent designation. So this is a number, and they are done sequentially by the Minor Planet Center. So when the next one is given a permanent designation, it takes the next number in the sequence basically. So they're given this permanent designation then once we know more information about the orbit and it's very well defined. Now once that has happened, so once they actually have a permanent designation, the discoverer is then invited to suggest an actual name for it. So if you've discovered that particular object, it now has a permanent designation, the discoverer would then be asked to suggest a name to name it, which is quite exciting. However, there are some rules you need to follow if you were put into that position where you wanted to propose a name for an object you discovered. It should have 16 characters or less. It should preferably be one word, so not multiple words, just one word is ideal. It should be pronounceable, so it should be easy to pronounce. It shouldn't be offensive, so it shouldn't be any kind of offensive word, and it shouldn't be too similar to an existing minor planet or a natural satellite. So it has to be different enough that it's distinguishable from other objects. And just to give you an idea really, this is a collection of minor planets that have their permanent designation, which is in the brackets, that number there. And then they also have a name after that where they've actually been named. Now, I know previously I said they should be pronounceable, and there's quite a few on there that I wouldn't have a clue on how to pronounce myself. But anyway, this is an example of some of those objects that have now been named, they have their permanent designation, and this would be the end point of naming a minor planet. So thank you for watching, and if you enjoy then check out some of the other videos.